Covering the world of professional poker.
From the people who know it best.
Gavin Smith.
Spot on. I just got it.
Joe Seabach.
So you're saying that you do not like to be stroked?
And Ollie Major.
How much would it suck to have an Arab deport you?
PokerRoad Radio. Brought to you by the World Poker Tour.
Good morning, if you can call it that, everybody. Hollywood, the Cub, and the Caveman recovering.
It's a rough morning.
From a very wild night out here in Las Vegas. We're outside the Amazon room at the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino. I would like to kick off today's show with a confession.
Please do.
14 minutes ago, I was experiencing REM sleep.
You were asleep. You're brutal.
Yes. I was absolutely out. Gone. And if it weren't for the last legs of my cell phone's vibrate function coming through on the multitude of text messages attempting to awake me. Wake me up.
I just want to say you're a great host. I just want to let you know that. You are an amazing, wonderful host. I want you to know that.
Your words hurt.
I'm telling the truth.
I want you to know that.
I like to have to wake up my host. I like to have to wake him physically.
Admit it.
3 minutes before we're about to go on the air.
I came on late February at the Commerce. This is the first time that we have experienced the someone has to wake me up situation.
We earned it, though.
We do.
We earned it.
Now, I did
Happens
not.
to me more often than that.
I did not employ the Gavin Smith school of thought where you set your alarm for after the show starts, which maybe would have worked.
For the
I don't know.
For the 11:15 start
If
time.
I would have gotten that far. But in any event, 877-836-ROAD, the voicemail number, 877-888-WSOP, the more important of the two numbers. That is our live call-in number. PR Radio Chat on AOL Instant Messenger is where you need to be if you want to get on and chat with us live. PokerRoad.com, of course. We got plenty of new content up there, lots of new blogfessionals. Is Mattson rapping some more? Yes. I talked to him yesterday, and he is committed.
He loves it.
To the rap career.
I mean, he's fired up. He's talking about getting a studio.
I told you.
I mean, this kid, I think, has completely lost his mind.
He's not messing around.
Have you seen his raps?
I have not.
No.
You haven't seen his raps?
No, but I've listened to the song, though, and I liked it.
Oh, you have? Oh, you have heard the song they did?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
He's a lot out there.
I get all of the Poker Road email. I go through, I spend hours, literally, I kid you not, combing through all of the Poker Road email and voicemail. I don't even understand, like, why Shrunk would do that, because that actually pissed me off. Because I do that, and you know that I do that. And I reply to a majority, like, I'm talking 85% plus of all the email that we get.
Ooh, it's piss off Ollie Day. You can't get angry at Donald Key. Donald Key is an American patriot, if you will. It's a fact.
Right.
It's a fact. It's almost the 4th of July, and he is a patriot.
Now I finally, for the first time in my Poker Road radio career, understand the Gavin Smith feeling some mornings where he just wants to rip someone's fucking face off. In any event, gentlemen, why don't we recap? And I'm not talking about how your tourney day went. I want to know how your tourney day went, and I want to know how your evening went as well.
My turning day was quick, like always.
Oh,
the thing that's frustrating to me the most, or whatever. I took a couple beats, whatever. But it's like what Gavin was saying. You don't even feel like you get to play poker because you have to. We start with 3,000 generally, and you have to get that up to 8, 9, 10,000 before you can play a little bit. Mm-hmm. You're really, really handcuffed up until that point, and I think that's the most frustrating part for me is I don't even feel like I've gotten to play any poker yet. So, anyways, tournament day was over pretty quick. I hung out with you for a while because you were locked out of your room multiple times. They gave your room away again.
Oh, my God.
So it was kind of a train wreck. It was a dumpster fire. It was a bad situation.
Kind of a train wreck is a complete understatement. I came back to town. My room had already been given away once.
Right.
Scott Huff calls me because on the weekends, we do big poker Sundays out here. Calls me up and he's like, Ollie, what's your room number? And I'm like, I give him the room number. And he goes, why did an Asian man and his young son answer the door? And my key didn't work. And I go, I really don't know the answer to that. I thought maybe Barry was harboring people in my room or something. I didn't know what was going on.
Poker Road smuggles Asians on the side to
we had the Far Eastern Coyote maneuver going on. So then, we figure, okay, we'll fix the problem. You were kind enough, Joe,
of course,
to go to the front desk, get me into a new room last night.
Then
which,
they
of course,
gave that room away.
Which was once again given away. Now, what really would have been scary was the same dude was in my new room. I'd have been like, okay, dude.
If it was the same kid who was like,
hello? Like, what is going on over here? But in any case,
I
end up
kicking in my room. I'm in my towel, about to get in the shower. And anyways, finally we get you situated so everything's all right. And then I said, you know what? I'm going out. This World Series has been rough. I'm going out. I'm having some cocktails. And we went out. We hit up the all-in party, Johnny Chan's shebang. So that was a good time.
I'm not going to lie to you. Gavin, did you make it over there?
Yes.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. That party was a little bit disappointing. A little bit disappointing insofar as the drinks,
Right.
cash and carry. What?
Well, it wasn't open bar for a while, so I don't know what the situation was that they had set up. But when we first got there, everything was, open bar. We went up to the VIP thing and hung out. And it was a good time. But then they cut it off at like 10 or something ridiculous. It was like open bar for 15 minutes.
Yeah. Open bar for 15 minutes is completely inadequate.
Yeah, so it's pretty funny.
That's all I can tell you.
And then what did we do? We hopped into a couple cabs, headed over to Jet. And Jet was just unbelievable.
Holy
it was madness,
smokes.
wrapped inside of bacon,
Holy
with insanity
smokes.
sprinkled on it. It was
That
totally nuts.
it was one of the wilder nights I've ever had in Vegas. And Gavin Smith, you were there.
I left before you guys, though.
No, but you got there before us too, so don't
Right.
sing that song.
I was there till 2.
Gavin was in rough shape last night.
Gavin is still in
In
rough
rare
shape.
form.
I want us to get a shot of all three of us because we've got some mileage on the odometer. Grind week has been replaced with acute damage week. That's exactly what's going on.
Mental,
all right.
mental tremors week.
It is scary. All right, we're going to do some emails and voicemails today. You know who we have on today's show, by the way? The professor.
Oh, he is
himself,
actually coming?
Howard Lederer.
He's
Now,
actually coming.
And tell me how you really feel about this. I have texted him. Asking him on 2 occasions now, one last night and one this morning, where he's at, what he's doing, and I have not yet heard back from him.
Oh, man. I give you 2-1. He no-shows again.
If he no-shows,
He's never coming on the show.
never
ever.
coming on the show.
We'll never
again.
have him on the show
A
ever
full
again.
86er.
Yeah, 100%.
But I guarantee you, I can happily fill 20 minutes worth of his interview segment
it'll be all
with
right.
stories from last night. Oh, my God. It'll turn into the Jet recap edition of Poker Road Radio.
Oh, you
Speaking
know
of
what I did? I sprained my ankle last night. I
At the
actually
club?
sprained my ankle at the exactly. I sprained my ankle at the club. Had to limp out, totally drunk at 4 a.m.
Wait, how does one sprain it? Were you trying to did you get jiggy with it? Was it a Napoleon
I
Dynamite?
had a Will Smith situation going on. I was getting down. It was intense.
You were getting down, by the way.
I don't even remember half of what I was getting down. I remember we were up on that big huge thing, platform. Not like not like that. They have this big dance
That
area that's
800-pound
elevated.
woman?
Yeah, they have this big dance area that's elevated, and I'm lucky I didn't sprain up there and did a face plant. Into the drinks or into the crowd.
It was hazardous.
Yeah, I know.
It was hazardous. I'm not going to tell a lie. I was a little bit shocked that we stayed up there as long as we did without eating it.
Yeah.
Actually, even more shocking was that some of the girls who were sloshed were able to stay up there because they were in heels.
And they were
mind you.
absolutely sloshed.
And they were gone. Holy smokes. Now, whose table were we at? It was Antonio and Eric Lindgren's table?
I think.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And G. Smith and who was on the other side of the wall? We kept having people
Serb.
Yeah, who climbed it?
it was like when Germany.
It was like a prison break.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable what was going on.
I don't know how to explain it.
I would
lemmings
look to-
kept coming over
Yeah,
the
I would
wall.
look to my left and there'd be girls literally like Night of the Living Dead, crawling up,
Yeah.
trying to get over that thing, and dresses no less.
Yeah. Oh my God. And
In
not
dresses.
caring. Not caring.
at
There was full
all.
beef reveal every time they came over the wall. It was a terrifying
my
situation.
God.
I'd love to lie to you and tell you that it wasn't, but indeed it was. All right, we did have some tourney recaps that I wanted to get to. I had them open a second ago on this worthless laptop. Someone emailed in and made fun of my laptop.
I wasn't going to say anything, but you should.
This is
defend your
not
laptop.
this is a freaking IBM ThinkPad. This is the workhorse of the laptop industry.
No. It was the workhorse.
You
It
guys
used to
suck.
be.
Don't make fun of my freaking laptop. All of you suck. How's that? All right. People who don't suck. Event number 49 winner, $1,500 no limit hold'em, and he no doubt acquired chips somehow indirectly from Joe
For
Seabach
sure.
in his
For
quest for
sure.
this. J.C. Tran got it done. J.C. Tran. How about that? Again.
I'm stoked for him. He deserves it. He absolutely is an amazing player. And truthfully, I don't know how he did it because I wasn't in that tournament. So I don't know how he amassed those chips without taking them from me at some point.
I hate to use this term because a lot of people have been using it throughout the World Series, but they tell me that this is the year of the pro. I think it's like the 17th sign on the Zodiac or something. I don't know. How many signs on the
It's
Zodiac?
not the year of these pros, I'll tell you that much.
13th sign on the Zodiac?
It's not the year of Poker Road Radio
no.
pros.
Well, BG
Yeah,
got
no,
a bracelet
Poker
on.
Road, yes. Poker Road Radio, no.
JC wins himself $631,000, his very first bracelet, and he was on, interestingly enough, an article in, I believe it was either Bluff or Card Player, heading into the World Series, discussing people who are very good players yet to win a bracelet. And I think 3 of the players that were in that article have already won.
At least. I mean,
bracelets.
There's Eric, there's David Benuin, there's JC. Who else?
There's one more. I know we're leaving one out.
I'm sure that there
Give
is.
us a call, 877-888-WSOP. Heck, we could use some
What
remote
about
research.
Ivy?
No,
What
Ivy is
about
yet to
Ivy?
do it, and
Yep.
he is one guy who is probably starting to sweat a little bit.
Are you kidding me?
Gavin-
He's sweating hardcore.
You know how much Ivy has altogether on this bet? I know you have a piece, right?
No, I didn't bet it.
Oh, you didn't
He's
bet
got
it?
a lot, though.
I mean, it's over 7 figures.
I heard over 7. I heard it was like $6 million.
$6 million.
It's just that. I mean, that's what I heard. I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it.
I don't know if it's that much, but it's a lot.
Yeah. The thing is, you're not going to talk to him about it. Like, I would never go up and ask him at this point.
Never.
In a
Oh,
million
not
years.
at this point,
No.
especially.
No
In the
way.
beginning of the series, it
Yeah,
might have
yeah,
been
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
He'd laugh and be like, I'm going to do it. Now he'll punch you.
He's
Well-
like a superhuman, though, so he'll probably just win the main event.
And he probably will and be like, that's right.
Scoop the bets, and he'll be all excited.
How sick would that
He'll be
be?
all excited about scooping the bets instead of getting the $8 million that'll pay for.
That's such a true story, too, because
But
he
his-
wants to put the hurt on.
But his whole contention is that WSOP Europe counts. So the bet maybe doesn't end.
No, he was just needling.
No, he was not.
Really?
He absolutely 500% believes that is in the bet. And technically speaking, it is. Technically speaking, if you're going to get technical about the bet. Because when somebody says, I'm going to win a bracelet this year,
Yeah.
he didn't say, I'm going to win a bracelet at the World Series of Poker in, Las Vegas.
What if WPT switches to bracelets this season? If
He's
they
gonna
get
be like,
renewed? They'd be like, as part of our budgetary constraints, we've moved from trophies to bracelets.
they
that
already
would be
did that.
tilt-worthy.
Did
They
WPT
gave away former champs. You were there.
Yeah, and they're continuing to give those on now on.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Technically speaking, event number 50's final table is set. $10,000 pot limit Omaha World Championship. The Grinder, another pro. He is your chip leader. $1.7 million in change. Joining him at that final table is going to be Keto Fam and Billy the Croc, among others. You guys know those names?
I certainly do.
Yes.
And are they going to be able to contend with the Grinder's massive chip lead?
Well, Keto's close to him in chips, and Keto's pretty aggressive too.
Yeah,
so
Keto's nuts.
It's going to be those two will probably clash. But
You know-
but Grinder's another one off the list there. That if he could win today, he'd be he'd get off that one.
I think, honestly, like if I ever do play one of these events, I'm going to take like an acid tab before I do it because I believe that being certifiably insane is an
Oh, it
aid
helps.
to
Oh, it
winning
definitely helps.
in poker. Event number 51, the $1,500 horse event, which I screwed up and did not play, started yesterday. 20 players left out of 803, and guess who the chip leader is?
Mr. Helmuth.
Mr.
Phil Helmuth.
Phil Helmuth himself.
PH, huh?
And he's got a big chip lead too.
Really?
Yeah, he's got 287,000 and change, and he is hungry, boys, for number
Wow.
12. He wants to put some cushion between himself and those 10 bracelet holders, and Johnny Chan, and somebody else has 10. Is it? It's not Doyle. Is it Doyle?
Yeah. It's
I
not
forgot
Gus
about
Hansen.
that song. That song makes me happy. Shrank, I know you don't have a mic on, and I know it's bad radio etiquette to ask you a question that everyone can't hear the answer to, but I will speak to Gavin and Joe right now, and I'm asking you, did you get the email I sent you with that phenomenal song I wanted to use during the bumpers on today's show? Yes. Wow, look at the way he communicates, too. It's
He
like,
has to communicate.
it's phenomenal. I love it. All right. In any case, the $1,500 limit hold'em shootout is happening today. Massive amounts of people coming in to play the event. I had to navigate through a sea of human lemmings, and I finally made my way over here. So we're going to take a quick break. 877-888-WSOP is our live call-in line. PR Radio Chat on AOL Instant Messenger if you want an invite to our chat room. Take a listen to this, and when we come back, I'll tell you who it is and how you can download it. Welcome back for more PokerRoad Radio. I feel like the three of us should be on horseback when we listen to that. That is a phenomenal song. I'm trying to find the info on it. I got it in my email inbox here. It was sent to us by one of our listeners a long time ago. And
I remember. It's
I cracked up.
yeah.
No, you haven't heard this one yet. Did you hear this one?
Yeah, you sent it to me too.
It's phenomenal. It makes me happy.
I love that we break so much poker-related nonsense music on our show.
We have become like the American Idol for poker.
I still think that my
Music.
favorite song is the
Bankroll
yeah.
Buster,
For sure.
yeah.
That
you
has
know,
to be the favorite.
I kind of want to arrange it so that when I walk around in certain places, like Shronk is there with like a Radio Raheem boombox and can
And just
play.
boom, hits it.
And just like,
It's like a
when I walk
soundtrack.
by, it's like intimidating.
It's a
Shronk's on
soundtrack
the
to your
rascal
life.
behind me with a huge boombox.
It's sick.
And it's a
It'd
soundtrack
be
to my
amazing.
arrival. Like I walk into a poker game, a Bankroll Buster, yeah. And then people are like, whoa, it's the Bankroll Buster, man. Give him room.
You know what?
Give him room.
I like where your head's at.
I like,
it.
where my head's at, we know. Where the guys who are hanging out over here in the hallways' heads are at, we don't know. Because it is 11:22 a.m. Pacific time, and they are hanging out like true, loyal
troopers
fans.
They're warriors.
So I like to reward them at this point in the show with a little bit of trivia. And remember that the winners of this trivia can earn themselves some very handsome, exclusive PokerRoad WSOP 08 shirts. And remember, embarrassment is going to take place if you don't know the answer to this, because it is about our interview guest who has just arrived, Howard Lederer. You guys ready? You guys think you can take a crack at my trivia?
I think we should let Howard.
I don't like the level of enthusiasm out here out of you 6 bastards. How's that sound? All right? This is 5-pound baby Jesus, our intern. He's got a microphone. He is ready, and I want to see somebody stick their neck out and try to answer this. Other than the professor, what nickname did Howard go by to his fellow pros, and why? Anybody know Howard's nickname other than the professor? No one?
Gavin knows. G. Smith.
Gavin Smith, you are not eligible for any prizes. However, I will allow you to attempt to answer this question.
I'll go with Bub.
And why?
Why Bub?
I don't know. I have no idea why. I mean,
okay, maybe it is not Howard's time yet to be on this particular segment. However, we will go ahead and allow him to answer a question. Howard, why were you given the nickname Bub?
Just in New York, like, it was kind of like you're such a bub. You know, it's kind of a Jewish bubby kind of thing, but it's just sort of the bub.
There you go.
A Jewish bubby kind of thing. No one was going to get that
I
right,
cannot be blamed for not knowing the answer that he barely knows the answer to.
Thank God he was here to answer it, because that's not what Trunk had written down for me. All right, let's take it to some poker news.
Bringing you the biggest stories. Or, well, whatever we could find 10 minutes before the show. Poker news!
I think we should still give away some shirts, though.
Yesterday's shirt fiasco.
It was like
so
Shirt
much
Mania.
fun. It was
2008.
I just started hurling them at people, and then we had this huge stampede. I had to pull Riley out from under a pile of humans. He had a bunch of sneaker marks on him. It was phenomenal. All right, guys, I'm very saddened by the following piece of poker news. We all knew that this gentleman had been sick for a little while, and he was a very, very loved member of the community, of the poker community. 3-time WSOP bracelet winner John Benetti has passed away. The whole story's on PokerNews.com. John Benetti, one of poker's true characters and a 3-time WSOP bracelet winner, died on Saturday, June 28th in his Houston, Texas home. Benetti was a member of the Seniors Hall of Fame and had earned more than $4 million in tournament winnings throughout his impressive 20-year career. Didn't begin playing poker until he was 57 years of age, yet won his first bracelet in No Limit Deuce to 7 less than 5 years later in 1990, when he defeated a final table that held, among others, poker champion Johnny Moss. Benetti battled cancer valiantly for over 15 years, but finally succumbed to the disease on Saturday when he died in his hometown at the age of 80. Were you guys here for the John Benetti roast?
Mm-hmm.
It was a couple of years ago, I think.
I didn't go to it, but I remember it.
That was a fun time, man. He really took things well, and I'm sure we'll have a chance to get some stories out of Howard when we get him on in the next segment.
He had so much spirit. He was just one of those guys that, regardless of everything he was going through with the cancer, and, he certainly was up there in age, but you would never guess it. I mean, he had so much kick to him.
Yeah, he was just a lighthearted guy.
Yeah.
He really, really was. Another piece of kind of, not so happy news, Eric Risen Lynch, maybe happy for him, has cut his ties with Ultimate Bet. This is directly from his blog. After a lot of reflection and thought, I have decided to separate myself from the Ultimate Bet brand. I hope that everyone will respect my privacy, as I wish not to go into the decision in any great detail at this time. I just believe that the things I'm trying to accomplish in my career are not in sync with the Ultimate Bet brand.
Right.
So,
I was surprised, that it was kind of a weird situation because UB signed a bunch of people, and then apparently they were supposed to not announce it, because everything went down and it was going to seem like such an obvious PR move. But they, from what I heard, announced it anyway and pissed off all these players. Risen, Johnny Bax, all these guys who, from what I understood, it was part of the thing that they weren't going to announce it because of that. So, I don't know. It was definitely a sketchy situation the way that it all went down.
And, I mean, obviously the first thing everybody wants to think about is UB's security breach situation with the super user absolute and the cheating and refunding people. And, there are still people who have stood by Ultimate Bet throughout this fiasco. And I mean, Annie being one of them. Phil Hellmuth obviously is stuck with the brand. They're the marquee entities. But I guess young Eric has decided it's time to part ways. And I've decided that it's time for a little bit of email.
Now who the hell is this? Emailing me at 11:26. Now it's time for emails and
All right, this is a little bit of a risque email coming from Joe Peterson out in Shoreview, Minnesota, who was actually writing in to one of our other shows. There's Two Jacks in the Hole, Big Poker Sundays, Inside the Poker Mind. We've got a lot of other stuff on PokerRoad.com. Be sure to check it out. And he writes in, he's trying to coin a new phrase and wants to get our opinions.
Really? How risque is this?
Well, he's thinking of using the preposition with rebuys as a, quote, negative intensifier. For instance, the Lost Grind Week episode on Poker Road Radio was so bad it sucked with rebuys.
Nah, I'm going to say no to that.
Yeah, the buffet over at the Taj will sign you up for the men's room kneel and go with rebuys. Now, what is a men's room kneel and go?
I don't even know what that means.
I don't even know what that means either. Well, he wants to know what we think. So Schronk obviously is weighed in. He says no.
Bad idea.
You guys say no. I say no. All right, Joe Peterson, we give you your 15 seconds of fame.
Any saying that doesn't, you literally don't understand what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Right off the top. You don't even have to talk about it beyond that.
Like Gloria Balding's dress today is risque with rebuys. Like that maybe Riley can get a shot of that next time she comes parading through the hallway over here. We have to work with that.
It's true.
I mean, it's difficult to focus when I'm employed by people who dress like that at work.
I can't comment.
I need to like get a splash of cold water in the face over here. 877-888-WSOP. I want to give our next guest plenty of time to discuss all the wealth of knowledge that he has. Here's a guy, guys. If you want to call in and ask poker strategy questions, now is the time. We're going to be back with Howard Lederer. 877-888-WSOP, PR Radio Chat on AOL Instant Messenger. Right back with Howard Lederer and more Poker Road Radio. Welcome back for more Poker Road Radio. We have all got our horses in valet right now. We rode in this morning. That song just makes me feel like I'm in the modern Wild West, not the old Wild West.
You are.
Like
we are in the modern Wild West.
And we are here with a gentleman who has over $4.8 million in career tournament winnings. Not too shabby at all. 2 WPT titles. Not too shabby at all. A WPT Player of the Year award. Not too shabby at all. And 2, count them 2, WSOP bracelets. The professor himself has finally come on Poker Road Radio during my reign. Mr. Howard Lederer, please welcome him. How are you, Howard?
How you doing?
I'm doing really, really well. I'm lying. I'm actually hurting. I had a very long night last night.
But we are here.
We are here, and we are here with you. And I want to kick things off with what has to be unequivocally the question I've been asked more than any other since arriving here at the World Series. And you're a pretty intuitive guy. I'm wondering whether or not you can guess what question this is. It's something that people could ask me or you. They could ask Robert Williamson. They could ask Mark Gregorich. They could ask Chad Brown this question. Do you know what question this is? Specifically, those people I mentioned is who they'd ask.
Oh, really?
Yes. And it involves Poker After Dark.
Yeah. Okay. Then I need to hear the question. Oh! You're talking about the mother bet?
Yes.
Okay.
The mother of all bets.
Mother bet? What is
the
this?
mother bet.
Now go ahead and explain what happened here, Howard, since you were there. I was there, but you were there.
And actually, I think Ray First has figured it out. But
okay. Well, let's explain it first.
There was a very strange situation where Phil Gordon, just in conversation, says, "Hey, I met your mother last night at the casino," and I said, "Really?" Because my mother, who does live in Las Vegas, hates casinos.
Yeah.
When we go out to a movie and I suggest like the Red Rock, which is a casino movie place, as opposed to a non-casino, she always complains, "Oh, we got to walk through the casino." And I didn't think it was her, and I kind of told him I didn't think it was her, and then he said, "No, it wasn't the one who always votes against me at karaoke at your party. It was your mother-in-law." No, sorry, not your mother-in-law, your stepmother.
How many mothers do you have?
I have a mother and I have a stepmother. So, but she lives in San Diego. So there was some chance that she'd come to town and not told me, but she always tells me if she comes to town. She almost always comes to town with my dad. I just thought it was no chance it was. Now, and Phil Gordon knows both of my mothers.
Okay.
So we ended up making a bet that he hadn't met my mother. And it
was a $1,000 bet, right?
Yeah, it was a $1,000 bet, but then he said, "Back up the truck."
Back the truck.
He was telling everyone at the table. By the way, Ali said, "Boy, Howard, you must hate money."
I did.
He did.
But I also, after saying you must hate money, because I was like, well, Phil, he knows your mother's. I mean, he can't. I mean, he's not a retard here.
Right,
It's not. Let's be serious with ourselves. But then there was that vibe, and we all have that sixth sense as gamblers. When something feels too much of a lock, you shy away. And I did not end up putting money on this.
That's the quintessential poker bet, isn't it? The one where whoever loses is going to look like an idiot,
Right.
right? But you don't know who, right? So I just bet that my stepmother wouldn't come to town without telling me, and that my other mother.
It wasn't her.
Just wasn't going to go into a
So
casino
was this resolved?
voluntarily. Yes. So we called my stepmother, and she was like, "No, I just got back from San Diego. I just got back to San Diego from the East Coast." And
This is a very odd story.
it was
I'm
a very odd
not
story.
gonna bullshit you.
And Robert Williamson was very upset. We didn't even have to call my real mother. There was no chance.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like 100%. But I think Rafe First has figured it out. Rafe has decided that a woman who knew Phil and thought Phil should know her, and maybe Phil had met her, right, walked up to him in the casino and said, "Hey, Phil, how you doing? Remember me?"
Right.
And then Phil says, "Yeah, you're Howard's mom." And then she didn't and then she's she's kind of embarrassed, that he didn't remember who she was, and she didn't correct him. And then he has like a 5-minute conversation with her, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can you see how that can kind of happen?
Yeah, sure.
The thing that bugged me the most about it was that Robert Williamson didn't escape the vortex.
Robert lost 1,000. He was so upset, and he just assumed that it was some very elaborate hustle. That Phil and I were chopping him up later. For
chopping up the 1,000?
Yeah. And there are so many conspiracy theorists on this bet, you guys. I play, and people are chatting with me, and they're like, "So, man, that's really screwed up what Howard and Robert did to Phil." And I'm like, for a dime? Do you know how elaborate that bet would have had to have been? For a dime? I'm like, they must have had to have hated Phil Gordon to orchestrate something that comprehensive.
Right.
And I mean, people assume that we'd gotten to the bottom of it. I don't think we still have really gotten to the bottom of it.
I think Ray First. I think that's the answer.
But it's speculation.
No. Well, anyway, at my party tonight, Phil Gordon will be there, and my stepmother will be there.
Right.
And we have a few surprises for Phil.
Oh, please don't tell me you found the woman.
No.
Oh, that would be amazing.
No, but we have some T-shirts. There's going to be some good stuff.
Oh, that's going to be so awesome. Now, Robert did mention that it was the greatest $1,000 investment in publicity he's ever made in his life. Because I'm telling you, this is the subject of virtually every person's conversation who talks about this Poker After Dark episode.
In my next
thing.
Poker After Dark episode, there is another side bet that I make.
It's like the sequel.
It's kind of the sequel. It's Doyle. It's another one where someone's going to look like an idiot. And this time, actually, Doyle, who created the bet with me, ends up not even betting. Eli Alezra is the one who ends up betting with me, and of course goes off. And of course starts scratching his head about how he lost his money.
How can Eli possibly want to jump in after Doyle, who, let's face it, is a pretty sharp cookie, decides to back down? I mean, that's just a bad play right there by Eli. He just wanted the glory. He wanted the glory. He was hungry for it. On a little bit more serious note, Howard, we know that you're involved in a lot of the political facets of keeping poker out of the margins of the law, and Full Tilt has invested a great deal in that. We've got some questions here from the chat room, one of which was from Monkey on the Mic, who doesn't ask a very monkey-like question. After the Barney Frank bill has been kind of screwed and nixed here, how are we going to get rid of the UIGEA?
Well, first of all, the Barney Frank bill wasn't a repeal of the UIGEA. Basically, what the Barney Frank bill said was we have a law, the UIGEA, which is completely vague as to what is and is not illegal internet gambling. And, regulations, by definition, are supposed to clarify for those that would be regulated how they're supposed to comply with a vague law. And the regulators decided to take a huge punt and not do that. And so Barney, in his position as the head of the Financial Services Committee, felt like it's his obligation to force the regulators, essentially. And that's what his law says. The regulators are going to have to clarify these very important issues for the banks. You're basically saying to the banks, we're not going to help you. We're not going to tell you what is and is not illegal internet gambling. Mm-hmm. But if you get it wrong, you might do 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
It's negative free roll for the banks.
Right, exactly. Which means that clearly legal internet gambling is going to get stopped just out of an abundance of caution, and you can't blame the banks for that. So Barney offered, this bill that may have, gone a little too far. Who knows? But I mean, it was a very strongly worded bill, and now a Republican, Representative King from New York, offered an amendment which made it a little more palatable, maybe to the other side. And made it kind of a bit bipartisan, and but then somehow that very strong, party discipline, the Christian conservative side of the Republican Party really stepped up in the name of Congressman Baucus from Alabama,
right?
And this is the wing of the party that feels like it's government's job to tell us how to spend our free time, to spend our entertainment dollar, and to tell us what's good for us, which is
preposterous.
It is preposterous in a free society. So that got defeated, but I'm pretty confident that Barney is going to figure out a way. There are ways to even tone down the King Amendment, maybe even a little more. Maybe reintroduce. It was a tie, so a tie ended up meaning it kind of got defeated, but that means we only need to get one vote somewhere.
So it is a simple majority to get it passed through.
To get it passed through the committee, yes.
Well, cool.
So
all we got to do is just twist one guy's arm, right? Walk up with a hatchet and be like, dude, you know what you're voting for.
And that's exactly what Baucus did. He really, we were expecting 5 or 6 of the Republicans that voted against to vote for. They had told us they would.
Wow.
And so he literally, he just took him in the back room and just really strong-armed him.
Let me ask you this, because we all know how important, even in this election year, with Obama and Hillary and McCain. Well, I don't know that Hillary's still in it, but in any event, the young vote is so important. Look how many people are involved in poker who are young. What can some of these people who feel like, so much apathy and so much detachment from being able to create a collective voice and seriously impact this, which, let's face it, is directly beneficial to them to get involved on? What can our listeners do? What can the young people out there do to help make sure that we are...
The PPA is in there doing the good fight. They're meeting with these members of Congress. They're trying to turn these votes.
It's the Poker Players Alliance, PPA.
That's the Poker Players Alliance. Now, what you can do is you can join the Poker Players Alliance if you have not. And once you've joined the Poker Players Alliance, vote. You need to register to vote. The PPA is doing a registration drive right now. You can go to the PPA booth if you're here in Las Vegas. Register to vote and vote this issue. That's how we're going to change things in Washington. By voting this issue, you're going to be voting out Republicans and voting in Democrats. On average, there are some of our friends are on the Republican side of the aisle, but mostly not, and that's just a party discipline thing. Look, look, 6 or 8 of these Republicans, they're not really part of that wing of their party, but that wing of their party, these are the ones that have the leadership positions. Baucus was the senior Republican on the committee. He wields tremendous influence, and he was able to get these people that probably don't believe in the social conservative, Christian conservative ideals, but he got them to vote along that way. So we need to get more and more Democrats in office. We need to elect Obama, and the way you do that is by registering to vote and actually voting your issues. Because it's one thing to tell a member of Congress or a senator, hey, you've got X number of PPA members in your district. They're going to go look. You can send. They'll say, "Okay, what's the list?"
Right,
and then they're going to see if they actually voted.
Sure.
And until they see that we're in this thing and voting, they aren't going to listen to us.
There's a couple of other tough questions that I want to ask you. The first of which is obviously earlier in today's show we were mentioning Eric Risen's decision to part ways with UB, and one can only speculate that it was UB's tarnished brand image and reputation as a result of the security breach that they experienced as an online site, who everybody trusted. Right. People want to know what makes Full Tilt Poker different, and why it is that they should trust or can trust that Full Tilt is not going to have the same sort of thing happening or in the future, or that it hasn't already happened. And we wanted you to comment on that, being as involved as you are with the site.
Well, first of all, Full Tilt Poker had the benefit. Obviously it was a struggle too, but we had the benefit of coming late to the game. So we got to really see what was out there and be able to design the system from the bottom up.
Right.
with security in mind. And one
learn
thing
from other people's mistakes.
What?
And learn from other people's mistakes
Right.
and see where they went wrong.
Absolutely. So we knew that game integrity was 100% important. The only thing that makes a site is people trusting it. And
the lifeblood,
and certainly enjoying, but they have to feel safe. Mm-hmm. So they have to, it's got to be good software. They got to be good games, but they also have to feel safe there. We did design the system. I believe we're unique in the industry. I'm not sure, but I think we're unique in the industry, in that we do not run our game on on a live database.
Meaning
I don't understand.
Basically, there most of the systems, and I believe both AP and UB run this way. There's a database that basically holds the state of the game. If you think about, you've got all these tables, right? Mm-hmm. And there are cards that people have or don't have, and
flops,
flops, and there are chip counts, and people seated at all these tables.
Right.
There's a state, right? You could say whole
snapshot, right?
You could just take a snapshot of the whole site.
Right.
That lives in most sites' database, and then it takes a tremendous amount of database security to make sure no one can access that.
Right.
We designed our system differently. Our entire state lives in the server, in memory of the server. We just designed the system in a way where everything can live there. And it's very hard to get stuff out of memory of a server that's running a real-time game.
As opposed to an actual hard drive.
It's not even a database. A database, by definition, is designed to disseminate information, to organize information in a way for people to access it. They're very important. What we decided to do was not make the database part of the real-time system. Of course, we have a database. We have to be able to access hand histories to do all kinds of things, right? So what happens is about every 5,000 or 6,000 hands, we take all the hands that have already been dealt, completed hands, and then we throw it over to the database.
Right.
And then the database has all that information.
And at that point, it's irrelevant to anyone who's looking to have.
Obviously, look, if there were a breach to that database, and of course we do everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen, that would be a problem. That being able to access hand histories and learn about how people play, that's a problem. But it's a problem. It's 1/100th of a problem.
It's a different problem.
Right. It's a different problem and much less of a problem than someone seeing live whole card data during the play of the hand. That literally, it physically can't happen. No one can. If you got to our database, like apparently they did get to AP and UB at times in the past, you won't see hands that are live. It's just that's the physical construction of the site.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that is definitely reassuring. One of the other things that I want to reassurance on, and I don't know that this is Full Tilt specific or even that it's not just a matter of opinion. I'm sure there is a little bit of science behind it. But we talked a bit about the poker economy. And oftentimes when I've been discussing things with other pros whose opinions I respect, I've brought up the idea that more money is leaving the game of poker than is entering the game of poker. And this is just a theory of mine, and I don't know whether or not it's true. But I look at all of the online sites. I look at all of the entry fees here at the World Series and all the tournaments on the World Poker Tour, and the buy-ins obviously are very big as well. But specifically money that exits poker by virtue of rake, by virtue of buy-in fees for tournaments, by virtue of even people winning and then never coming back again, you know what I mean? Or donating it all to charity, like my best friend did in the stud event, or whatever. My God. But in any case, how is it that poker is going to be able to continue to sustain itself if, as I posit, more money is leaving the game per 24 hours? I mean, we're talking millions of dollars across all the live poker rooms and online poker rooms than perhaps is coming in, especially with the challenges of placing money online now because of some of the bills that have been enacted. Is it going to be able to continue at this pace?
Well, first of all, that's always been the case. Poker is an enormous worldwide game. And at the end of the day, for a vast majority, 99-point-something% of the people that play poker, it is entertainment. It's entertainment that's good for you. It's entertainment that teaches you things about yourself and other people, and you have fun. But it is entertainment. So people work. They have jobs, and then they have choices about where to spend their entertainment dollar. Okay, that entertainment dollar is constantly being funneled into the poker world, and it's going toward the people that you know, the pros, and of course all those other things that you mentioned. So the poker world is much bigger than it was 3-4 years ago, and the same issues that you're talking about. Think about 5 or 6 years ago when the poker world was 10% of what it is now, and you had the same kinds of things. I mean, how about when top players would win a bunch of money and you'd say, oh, it's in the poker economy, and then he went off to the pit and blew it all in blackjack.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's been money sinks all over the place in the poker world, and the poker world has survived.
The strip club, I mean, any number of different things.
Right, exactly.
Obviously.
So that process has been happening, and of course it's bigger than ever, but that's because the universe of poker and poker players is bigger than ever, and that funneling into the poker economy, because again, it's millions of small players making entertainment decisions, $10 decisions,
right.
$15 decisions that funnel up in the pyramid.
Now,
and of course fall off the wayside too along the way up the pyramid.
But I'm looking at all of those millions of small players who have faced so much difficulty now because of the laws and the legislation as having kind of been cut out of the loop. And now we're running in a budget deficit, so to speak, where the amount of money that is being taken out of our poker economy is not being replenished at the same rate that it was, especially in the online arena. Not to mention that the regular economy does bad, and when people have low levels of disposable income, they're less inclined to make entertainment-based decisions like going and playing a game of poker, which is why I am more scared now than I ever was. And let's face it, the rate at which the money exits the game in an online arena is far faster than the one, in which it takes place in a live brick and mortar situation. So, I mean, is it one of those deals where we can't really explain it right now? We just know that it's been okay?
Look, the bad economy, it's definitely going to have an impact on poker until it turns around. There's no doubt about that. People have less disposable income than they used to have. Clearly, the ambiguity of the laws and the issues we face with UIGA is also negative to the game of poker. These are issues that all have to get worked out, But at the end of the day, the game of poker is healthier.
Right, I agree with that.
Than it was 5 or 6 years ago. It's much bigger, and it is expanding in the worldwide arena massively. I mean, I do think within 2 or 3 years, the U.S. is just going to be another market. Mm-hmm. Still the biggest market, but I mean, we've got.
You've been out in Europe getting busy. I see all the new pros.
Europe, Asia, I mean,
Germany,
it's really,
the UK, France is going to be enormous. Italy is going to be enormous. I think Brazil, Russia. And we're starting to see what the Russians have been doing here, right? Didn't a Brazilian just win a bracelet a couple days ago?
Yeah.
I mean, these are big countries, and God forbid when China, starts to kick in.
Oh, forget about it.
And I think it's a little, sort of early there in terms of just even adoption of credit cards and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
The Asians.
Well, once a North Korean wins a bracelet, I think that's when we're really going to see the boom take place.
We know it's a rise.
But I mean, a South Korean is probably not that far off. I mean, that is like a crazy online country. They're
Badoogie.
There are some ridiculous percentage of like War of Warcraft. World of Warcraft.
I'm glad you couldn't pronounce it, because that means you're not one of those degenerates like the rest of these kids out there who are. What was it? Havad Khan was on the show. He was saying he plays StarCraft. He has AIM chat conversations and like 20 sit and goes going at the same time.
Literally.
I mean, that's synaptic overdrive at its finest right there. That is
scary.
terrifying. Another quick question. Maybe I should ask this a little bit earlier, but I've always been curious as to what the process was, because I was sort of around when Full Tilt was a little idea floating around in a few people's heads, and I remember hanging out with Lindgren a lot back in those days, and how you guys had approached him. How did Full Tilt Poker come to be? Bunch of guys sitting around a home game going, you know what? Or what? How did it happen?
Yeah, I think that
you know that.
Right.
Yes. You were there.
It really, it was really Chris Ferguson, I think, just that had the idea that there was going to be poker celebrities, and that you could build a brand around an authentic poker site that was designed with the poker player in mind, by poker players, represented by the TV stars, the sudden TV stars that were being created by this new poker media. That was the germination, and then just a lot of hard work trying to create some good software, really catch up in a business that, had a good 3-year head start in terms of player liquidity and in terms of, quality of software and software development. It's a very tough business.
Well, it seems like you have caught up.
Yeah, I would say so. When you look at the number of players connected online, in spite of all of the discouraging rhetoric that is out there at any given time, and the amount of marketing that you guys do, which is staggering. I mean, we've got ads for the site on our show. We've got them every time I turn on Poker After Dark, which I actually don't do a lot because I spend enough time working on the damn thing. But clearly you guys are safe and sound. And I got to say personally that I'm thankful that you guys put in the effort that you do to help keep poker safe for everybody and not just your players. And it's not a self-interested endeavor. So hopefully we can keep on with that, and we'll all continue to enjoy this great alternative to working a 9 to 5, right? Right, Gavin?
Yeah.
He is here, ladies and gentlemen, I promise. All right, listen, Howard, thank you so much again for coming in this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Really a pleasure to have you on the show, and hopefully we'll have you back on again soon enough.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll be right back with a little more Poker Road Radio. Welcome back for more Poker Road Radio. That, my friends, was what I like to call a very insightful interview guest.
And we don't always get those on this show.
We definitely don't always get those. One thing that Howard mentioned during the break here was that a lot of money does come back into poker from some of the sites and some of the other, live casinos and whatever in the form of guarantees that don't get there for tournaments, add-ons,
the logo bonuses,
things like that. It's something. It's not all of it, but it's important to mention that in aggregate, I think about all the money that Full Tilt pros and friends of Full Tilt like myself make. You know what I mean?
It's also important to say poker is healthy. Poker is very healthy as a game.
There are people who would argue with you, though, Joe.
Well, I mean, I understand.
Respectable people.
Of course, but it still is healthy. More people are coming in every single day. It's not as if the industry is shrinking. It's just that we're going through all of this nonsense, with the UIGA, But
it's painful.
It is. It sucks, and it's a bad situation. But it's not like poker's dying. It's not like less people are playing poker today than they were 3 years ago.
I can't even transfer money off the site on EFTs. But one thing I can do is surprise Larry in Phoenix, who has been on hold for 56 minutes, with taking his call. Larry, are you still there, you trooper? Larry in Phoenix. I won't blame you if you're not, by the way.
He hung up.
Larry hung up a long time ago?
I understand.
Larry, we apologize. I want you to know that.
I understand.
Ox, whoever named you that is ridiculous. In Colorado. Are you there, my man?
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. See, you were rewarded with your patience.
What's up, brother?
Oh, not too much. First of all, I have a question for Gavin, but Ollie disappointed me today. I thought he was like the workhorse of the group, but I thought he got up like 3 hours in advance and prepared for the show.
I do typically.
I looked up to him, and then he wakes up a quarter of, and what's that all about?
He should
Ox,
be
we're losing you, buddy. The connection's a little bit bad here. I'm not sure what's going on. I think it's your side, not ours. No, I'm only kidding. Typically, I am, Ox. I apologize to you and everyone else out there who believed in me this morning, but email me and let me know if you can do that on 14 minutes being awake. That's all I want to know. That's how I make my paycheck. So anyway, what's on your mind, Ox?
Yeah, I remember last Wednesday when you had that lost episode, and Gavin was in an Omaha 8 or better, and you're talking about betting on the turn just about every time. But I wondered if you could elaborate on that a lot. You said he was betting all the time because people were afraid to bet against him or something like that?
Well, Ox, that episode that was lost, actually that day was lost for me, so I really don't know what I was talking about or what this question is, because I really don't know, man. So I can't really answer your question.
Wow.
Now,
at least he's honest, I guess.
Now I don't look so bad.
There's something to that. I don't know.
I like Ali a lot.
No, but honestly, Gavin should get some credit because no other human on earth would have managed to stay awake and come in and do a show, no matter what kind of dumpster fire we put out there. He did it, and for that, he will always have my respect.
No, but most normal humans, though, wouldn't have to.
That's true.
They wouldn't have gotten themselves that far.
I don't think I should get accolades for putting myself in that spot.
I'm so happy I was sick that day, because I know I would have fired everyone. Everyone. I would have been like, everyone in this company is fired. All
Thank
go home.
God.
Every last
how
person.
much extra sleep have we finally got?
Oh, man. Did you guys see Paul Pierce at Johnny Chan's party yesterday?
No, I didn't see him.
Yeah. The Celtics have apparently been kicking it with one of his marketing guys.
Garnett was supposed to be there, too.
Garnett was supposed to be there, too. He didn't show.
Wow.
But, Paul Pierce comes rolling into the all-in party. Now, what I want to know is what the look on his face was when he got to the bar and the bartender was like, that'll be $10. That's what I want to know.
Right.
And I hope one of the all-in guys were there to at least pay
to ship
his way at that point.
Well, I don't know. Why should they? I mean, Paul Pierce makes a lot more money than all in.
Well,
so
no, but it's supposed to be an open bar.
But come on.
For the whole night.
I mean, what was so VIP about the VIP area is what I want to know.
Nothing.
Not much.
Trust
and
me.
I
Trust me.
the All-In tournament is going on right now. I wanted to jump in this thing. It's like some huge free roll, like $500,000 to
Something like
first
that.
place or something. I don't know
No,
what it is, but
it's not that much.
Well, it's something ridiculous though. I mean,
I think it's 100,000 at first, which is good.
100,000
I'm
at
not.
first
I'm
is
not.
good. I
I'm
mean,
not
come
spitting
on.
at that. I'm just saying
That's
it's not
like
happening.
70,000 times as much as we've cashed collectively.
Right.
But I haven't tried, which is the difference. I actually am doing better than all of you for the series.
You are, because I'm
Isn't
stuck.
that true?
Like, I don't even know what.
At
50 or 60?
$0 earned, I am currently the big winner. And no, BG is the big winner, isn't he?
Yeah, BG
but
is
not
the big
by a
winner.
lot.
He is. He's had a good World Series.
Collective buy-ins versus what he won in the Raz event, which wasn't the biggest field.
But he's up. I mean, he's made like almost 800,000
on the series.
No, Barrett. Yeah, the horse event.
Oh, I
The
forgot
Deuce
about the
event?
I didn't throw the horse event.
He's
I didn't throw the
made
horse and
3
deuce
final
event.
tables. I mean,
I
it's
didn't
not,
throw the
you know.
horse and deuce event in
Yeah.
there. See what happens when I wake up 14 minutes
I
before the show?
understand. Don't do it tomorrow.
Some things, I forget them. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to us today. Remember, if you are listening to us on the archive, listen to us live. You can get on. You can talk to our interview guests with that live call-in number, 877-888-WSOP. You can get on the chat room. By the way, big shout-out to everybody in the chat room today. Excellent questions from you guys, helping me out this morning. That was awesome. PRradio@PokerRoad.com is the email, and no matter what Tronk thinks, no matter how many negative buzz noises he wants to put in there, I do read and listen to all the emails and the voicemails.
I know you do, buddy.
877-836-ROAD is the voicemail line. Tronk, I want you to know you should run after I wrap this show because I'm going to attack you. If you haven't got us on iTunes yet for the podcast, which, by the way, a lot of people are doing, Devo, Brian Devonshire said he was playing in the event yesterday. He has these big headphones on, and he was listening to PokerRoad Radio and laughing, and people were like, just like, what are you listening to? He mentioned it, and he had 8 new listeners right away at the table who had not yet heard about us. Get on MySpace, add us, check out the Hollywood blog. I still haven't updated it, olivernajad.com, whatever. Make fun of my freaking stupid level of a site. And yes, Howard is still here. He's been hanging out. He's kind of a trooper over here. Gavin and I are going to be playing a heads-up horse death match. I want to know right now.
Yeah, when is this happening?
By the way, I've logged copious amounts of hours on my table playing horse. Gavin, not so much. Who do you think is the favorite in this death match?
Yeah.
Can both of us lose?
That's what he said.
Answer.
Can both
Thank
of you lose? Which is the correct answer? Which is the correct answer?
All right, I'll throw the challenge to old Howard too. I'll beat his ass at horse as well.
Ooh, them
Gauntlet.
are fighting
The
for
gauntlet
it.
has
I'll tell you
been
what.
thrown.
I'll prep him with the loss, and then once he's tilted, you can come in and clean up the scraps, Howard. All right, Joe and Gavin, I assume you guys are both headed into the room to play.
Yep.
Wonderful. Good luck to both of you. I'm going to handle some pregame duties with ESPN 360. My thanks to all of you out there in cyberspace in the chat rooms, all of you who called in, and everybody who is a listener of PokerRoad Radio. We genuinely have nothing but love for you guys. Keep emailing, keep calling, and we will bring you more of the same tomorrow at 11 a.m. right here from the Rio. Until then, this is Hollywood on behalf of everybody saying so long from the Rio. Peace.
See ya.